Good Wednesday afternoon, guys. I'm Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille Show. Thank you kindly for joining us. A Charlottesville, Albemarle County, Central Virginia, Commonwealth of Virginia, country and worldwide audience at our disposal. Scott Aaronworth in Virginia Beach, welcome to the program. Bill McChenzie, hello. Carol Thorpe, Kipasa, Neil Williamson, hello. Folks, 11 a.m. this morning, fired former Charlottesville Police Department Chief Rachel Brackney was in city limits with a press conference of newsworthy proportions. Yesterday at 10:33 p.m., via her Twitter account, Rachel Brackney publishes this tweet, and I will read it verbatim from Brackney's Twitter account, again published last night at 10:33 p.m. Former Chief of Police in the city of Charlottesville, Dr. Rachel Brackney, tweeted this: I'm holding a presser on June 15th at 11 a.m. at the federal courthouse, 255 West Main Street, to expose the Charlottesville Police Department and Charlottesville City Hall for the racist, violent institutions they are. She continues by tweeting the following: and Lordy, there are tapes to prove it. Then she tags NBC 29, CBS 19, Dave McNair, The Daily Progress, Charlottesville Tomorrow, Jordy Yeager, and then an account that I don't know. The press conference lasted about an hour. It started at 11 a.m. Her attorney was there. Chief Brackney is actively suing the city of Charlottesville for wrongful termination. Her lawsuit demands $10 million for race and gender discrimination, retaliation, defamation, FOIA violations, and business conspiracy. Her lawsuit not only names the city of Charlottesville, but several individual employees, including former city manager Chip Boyles, current city attorney Lisa Robertson, former city councilor Heather Hill, current mayor Lloyd Snook, current city councilor Sina McGill, former Police Civilian Review Board chairman Bellamy Brown, CPD member James Mooney, current acting police chief Tito Durrett, former city spokesman Brian Wheeler, and PBA president Michael Wells. Good Lord, boys and girls, welcome to the program. The Wednesday edition of this program is jam-packed with some red hot information. I mean, good Lord, $10 million lawsuit. Her attorney starts the press conference by saying, we came to the city of Charlottesville months ago and we gave the city 180 days to respond to us. Her attorney says, my phone has not rung. So the city of Charlottesville, the bell tolls for you. Brackney's attorney. The bell tolls for you. Two-shot. Judah Wickhauer in the mix. Two-shot. Judah Wickhauer in the mix. When Chief Brackney's attorney in front of the federal courthouse says on a microphone with many media outlets are covering the press conference, the bell tolls for you, city of Charlottesville. That's a threat. That is a threat.
No, it's not.
That is the definition of a threat.
That is not the definition of a
threat. What do you call that? What do you call that? Metaphorical language? What do you call that? A little pomp and circumstance?
She's basically saying, I gave you a chance to come clean. And
this is the attorney speaking.
Oh, he's saying, we gave you the chance to come clean, and you've completely ignored all of this. And so you've dug your own hole. Now we're going full bore with whatever allegations they have.
Bill McChesney says it's a threat. Chief Brackney, who made very few friends while on the job as the police chief in our fair city. At 10:33 last night, she announces today's press conference on Twitter, and she says, I'm going to expose the Charlottesville Police Department, Charlottesville City Hall, for the racist, violent institutions they are. And then she adds, and Lordy, there are tapes. Then her attorney starts the press conference by saying, the city of Charlottesville, the bell tolls for you. He then reiterates his demand of $10 million of taxpayer dollars for race and gender discrimination, retaliation, defamation, FOIA violations, business conspiracy. Not only named City Hall in the lawsuit, but also has identified by name Chip Boyles, Lisa Robertson, Heather Hill, Lloyd Snook, Sina McGill, Bellamy Brown, James Moody, Tito Jarrett, Brian Wheeler, and Michael Wells. This is a bad look. Bad look for all parties involved. We're in agreement there, right?
Yeah, I mean, she obviously thinks she has some serious dirt.
Well, she's saying there's tapes.
That's serious dirt, I would
She's
imagine.
saying there's on-the-record proof is what tapes mean, right?
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord. Brackney, in her press conference, called out Deputy City Manager Ashley Marshall for refusing to address the toxic work environment and allegedly scolding other city employees for putting things in writing. Molly Cogner, who goes by the Twitter handle Socialist Dog Mom, has done a fantastic job yet again, Molly. Yet again, you have done a fantastic job of covering the Chief Brackney press conference with a live Twitter update.
And I think she speaks best when she says towards the end, honestly, this lawsuit is our only real chance to figure out what the floof happened here. The city isn't going to be honest by choice. I don't know about that last sentence, but yeah.
Molly Cogner said this about the lawsuit and the press conference. Socialist Dog Mom on Twitter.
Yeah, I think she's right. I mean, obviously, none of us have any idea what actually happened. So we're all just guessing until the.
Well, what Brackney is alluding, Brackney's lawsuit is very crystal clear, indicating that she got canned because she tried to remake, and this is what Brackney is saying. Brackney is saying she was hired as the police chief in Charlottesville post August 12th to re-envision and to remake and to remodel.
I didn't see that.
No, but that's why she was hired. She was hired to remake, re-envision, and remodel the police department. She fired members in the police department for reasons she said were justifiable.
Yeah.
And then when she started proverbially cleaning house.
Yeah, and investigating.
For example, the SWAT team, which she did.
Yeah.
She then started losing the trust of the department, and then we started seeing attrition and turnover to the point where 25% of the department, roughly, is vacant, empty.
And it also said that she purportedly took some amount of this of her proof to Boyles, and that was when she was fired.
And then Boyles, she is saying, Boyles colluded with Michael Wells, who's come on the show, who I have a lot of respect for, in getting her fired because of cleaning house in the department, and also because she was a woman in black.
Yeah. I mean, that's
what her lawsuit is saying.
Yeah.
Scott Aaronworth in Virginia Beach is an Esquire. He asks, does the lawsuit name Nakia Walker? No, it does not name. Good question. It does not name Nakia Walker. Yeah. He also wants us to get up and get to the bottom of the Michael Signer news that's been in the news cycle of late. We can touch on that, Judah, to help offer some insight to Scott Aaronworth, a valuable listener of this program. Dude, first couple things. I'm just gonna do stream of conscious. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna ever hire Rochelle Brackney to be a police chief again?
I think it depends how she does on this this suit.
Even if she wins the suit,
If she wins the suit, she doesn't need to continue being a
fair response.
in anything.
If she wins a suit, she can retire. She doesn't have to work. Who cares? If she doesn't win the suit, I think it's fair to say she has impacted her professional brand, and this could impede her from getting future chief of police jobs in the near horizon.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if this is all a shell game and she doesn't have anything, then yeah, it looks terrible for her.
Second part, stream of conscious, just throwing it to you. How bad does this look for the city?
It looks terrible.
It looks terrible for the city.
Not only does it look terrible, if she has all of the evidence that she's alleging that she has, then
It looks really bad.
it is terrible. I mean, if all this stuff is true, then yes, something should be done. If if the department really is filled with these people, I mean, I happen to know a few of them.
Me too.
I've got people in church who I'm pretty sure are not all the things that she alleges, but that's not the entire department.
Lynn Snyder, watching the program, says she's going to ring my bell.
Wait, what?
She says she's going to ring my bell.
Who's going to ring your bell?
Lynn Snyder. When we were talking about now, the attorney said now it's time for the bell to ring for the city. Carol Thorpe, that's correct. She's gone into university teaching. I believe is it George Mason or George Washington? Carol, George Washington University or George Mason University? Can you look up Rochelle? Let's. Why don't we both look it up? I'll do it now. Rochelle Brackney. Just do a Rochelle Brackney search. It looks like it's. I think it's George Mason.
George Mason.
Yeah, it's George Mason. She's a lecturer at the Institute for Politics and Strategy. I mean, the current mayor of Charlottesville is listed in the lawsuit. Is listed in the lawsuit. Scott Aaronworth has this comment. Jerry, the ex-police chief from Portsmouth that was fired, was voted in last night by the city council as the new city manager. So maybe Brackney won't be done. That's hilarious. Thank you, Scott Aaronworth, for sharing that. The ex-police chief from Portsmouth that was fired was voted in last night by the city council as the new city manager. How ironic would it be if Chief Brackney was the city manager of Charlottesville? That position is open. I hear that position is open. I hear they're looking to fill that position by early 2023 to help with the budget cycle. Chief Brackney, Kevin Higgins, Greenwood, King of Greenwood, welcome to the program. This is going to be news. Okay, everyone watching the program. The Brackney press conference that transpired at 11 a.m. today in front of the federal courthouse will be in the Richmond Times-Dispatch tomorrow, the Daily Progress tomorrow, NBC 29 tomorrow. CBS 19 did a Facebook Live covering the entire presser. The Washington Post will allocate some kind of online copy to it. It's going to be all over Richmond television. It's going to be all over Virginia News. Mark it down. And if you're City Hall and you're the fixer or you're trying to figure out how to handle this, you probably pay her some kind of money to get her to, and you get her to sign a document not to disclose any of the dirt. You pay her the money.
I'd be calling...
Maybe not the whole $10 million, but you pay her something.
I'd be calling everybody else involved in this and saying, hey, how come I haven't heard any of this, how come I haven't seen any of this this proof that she's got prior to this press conference? Like, seriously, were you all just hoping that she was full of it?
We'll take it a step further. Let's take it a step further. Viewers and listeners, we're going to take it a step further. The police chief is suing City Hall for $10 million. Let's take it a step further. What if there is actually the smoke that she's talking about?
You mean, what if there's actually
What
fire?
if there's actually dirt? There's smoke. there's fire, there's actual tangible evidence of corruption.
Well, that's why I'm
cronyism. There's corruption, cronyism, racist behavior. Mm-hmm. If there's actual evidence, I'm going to take it a step further. Hold on. Step further, then you jump in. If it gets to that point where there's actual tangible evidence and proof of corruption, cronyism, and racist behavior in the police department, and we find out about it, how does someone like former Mayor Nikiah Walker respond to this? Nikiah Walker chose not to run for re-election because of sheer exhaustion, disdain, anger, bitterness over this whole Rachel Brackney firing scenario. She did not run for re-election. She said, I'm not going to run for re-election because of everything that went down with Rachel Brackney and her pink slip and firing. If Brackney has the proof and the evidence, Walker, with the benefit of hindsight, could then say, see y'all, told y'all.
Who cares?
This is why I didn't do it, y'all.
Who cares about and I told you so? If this is all true and it goes through and she gets her $10 million, I mean, and I told you so from former Mayor Nikiah Walker is, I think, fairly immaterial.
Do you give the hush money?
I think
Bob Yarborough says, what are the odds this is settled before trial? Pretty good, right? He's the king of Redfields, Bob Yarborough. I say damn, very good, very likely. I'd say this is getting set. The longer Dr. Rachel Brackney and her $10 million lawsuit that's based on racism, that's based on her getting fired for being a woman, that is alleging backroom dealing and cronyism and corruption and racist policing, the longer that's in the news cycle, the worse the look for the brand that is the city of Charlottesville. I would say the city of Charlottesville and its collateral damage team is saying, what price point or what level of money do we have to give Brackney for her to sign a document that keeps her from exposing us?
And yet she was previously asking for $3 million, correct?
Yeah, she's upped it.
I think that was the hush money.
The $3
million? We chose
mil?
not to give it. I don't think there's a hush money option any longer.
Well, Richardson pulled his lawsuit. Dr. Terry Ann Richardson. Is Brackney going to pull her lawsuit? Or do you think Brackney's in for the bitter end, the fight till the bitter end? This looks like a scorned person who's in for the fight to the bitter end.
She has to know.
That's okay if that's not plugged in.
She has to know that somebody out there either can refute all of her claims or knows that there's something to them. I think that's why they started off with the $3 million, and her thinking was probably that there's somebody out there that knows that I've got the dirt, if she does, and they're gonna whisper in the ear of whoever can make this, go forward to look, just give her the $3 million. Now it's at the point where I think she basically said, what was it?
The attorneys
I've given you the chance. My phone has not. We came to the city of Charlottesville months ago. I think what she's talking about is we came to you with an option to pay up. And
Yarborough says there's always a chance for hush money. There's always a hush money option. King of Redfields, Bob Yarborough. I agree with him. There's always a hush money option. I understand the point that you made. She jumped it from 3 to 10. We had the chance to kick her some hush money. We didn't do it. We played the silence game that we did with Richardson. The silence game with former city manager Richardson worked. He dropped the lawsuit. Brackney seems bitter and scorned, and maybe she has legitimacy on her side. Who knows? But now she's going after 10 mil. To put in perspective, 10 mil is about 5% of the city budget. Let's see what it is here. 2022, she's 2023. I think it's about $200 million a year, roughly. The city budget is roughly $212 million a year. So $10 million to put in this credit is close to 5%. 5% of a yearly jurisdictional budget would be this payday.
Yeah.
Neil Williamson, president of the Free Enterprise Forum, says, could Charlottesville use tourism promotion money, the transit occupancy tax, to fund settlement? Neil Williamson. I'm going to give you that. That made me laugh. Oh, no. I wanted to give you props. Hold on. There we go. I had the wrong sound effect.
Oh, man.
You know what? We're going to raise the meals tax 2% to give Brackney her $10 million. You want those bacon-wrapped dates or mas tapas? We're raising the meals tax 2% so Brackney can get her $10 million. You want that Riverside bacon double cheeseburger with some raw onion, some lettuce, some tomato, and some mustard? 2% more on the meals tax so Brackney gets her $10 million.
Well, I think the bigger problem here is not how the city's going to pay $10 million if it comes to that, or what they're going to do to raise that money. I think the bigger problem is that if all of this is true, then we have a much bigger problem on our hands than just money.
Because you're saying if this is true, we have...
I mean, did you hear...
What's that?
You didn't read through the whole thing, but some of this stuff was like... What was it? There was something about...
I know. We know this. You're talking about what they were doing on the phones, the police officers on the phones and what they were texting?
Yeah.
Okay, read some of the stuff.
I mean, just one thing was, if I can find it, was there was a guy talking about having his kids fight just for the fun of it. I mean, you know, I don't know what all she has, but, you know, if she thinks she can take down the entire police department, I would be worried.
Carol Thorpe, the Queen of Jack Jewett's giving you props and watching the program. I don't know if there'll be a settlement, Carol Thorpe says. The city blew her off for 6 months, and Judah is right. They did not pony up the $3 million walk-away money. The Cochran firm is a piranha tank, and they smell blood in the water.
Is that who she's got?
Yeah, dude, she's got an attorney from the late, great Johnny Cochran law firm. And a law firm that otherwise specializes in ambulance chasing. And I'm making it simplistic. And is now representing a client for wrongful termination.
Yeah.
This is going to get uglier before this gets better. Anyone watching the program, you need to hear it. You need to hear it. Because if you want a way to sell newspapers or get people watching a newscast, you put a former police chief on screen who is claiming wrongful termination associated with race and sex and is suing a former employee for $10 million. It's got all the wrinkles. It's got all the layers of the onion. McKenzie says this: if Charlottesville settles, they open up future doors for other suits. I mean, sometimes it's worth settling. Sometimes it's worth paying the money. And I understand, Bill, Wild Bill, the point that you made. It's setting a precedent. And if you pay somebody, a disgruntled employee, then other disgruntled employees are going to want a payday as well. Yes, it sets a precedent. But,
of course, in this case, like I said before, I would imagine somebody knows whether or not her claims have merit or not, and that somebody would be the one to.
Oh, I know.
My point being,
I would
that
think there's
if they paid her off, for instance, Dr. Taryn Richardson could come back and
Richardson took a payday and signed a document.
Yeah, before he came back
with a lawsuit.
Right.
Richardson took a payday.
So my point being, if he decided to come back with his suit again because Brackney got a payout, there's no guarantee that anyone's gonna take him seriously.
Richardson can't bring that lawsuit up ever again.
Okay.
When he dropped
you're missing the point.
I know, you're making an example.
Yeah, and my point being that if she has the dirt, then maybe she gets the payout, and anybody else that comes along, I mean, you got to have something to get a payout, unless it's just a matter of we want this gone, we want this out of the news cycle.
Queen of Jack Jewett says, if they lose this lawsuit, the $10 million gets paid by liability insurance. The premium we taxpayers pay will shoot sky high. McKenzie agrees with you with the bad precedent it sets from a payday standpoint. There's not a doubt in my mind. There's not a doubt in my mind. Janice Boyce Trevelyan, is Charlottesville already paying her from her termination? I do not believe so, Janice. Carol, do you know the answer to that? Carol Thorpe? Is Charlottesville already paying Brackney currently from her termination? Janice Boyce Trevelyan has that question on one of the 15 Facebook pages. Carol Thorpe may have that answer. She follows this as closely as anyone. Do you know if we're paying Brackney, Carol? I'm going to say, please let me tag Carol Thorpe on this. It's on the I Love CVille Food Facebook page. Carol. I say you kick the bank. You kick the bones to Brackney.
You're saying just pay her?
And I'm not one to back down from anything. You know that. You know that I'm not one to back down from any fight on any day.
Yeah.
About anything. Tic-tac-toe.
What does that mean?
I'll fight someone over tic-tac-toe. Think I'm joking?
No.
But there's certain fights that aren't worth having. Because if you win the fight, you still lose the war. And Charlottesville will lose the war if this goes further. Because the war is negative stigma and bad brand equity for a brand and image that is already vulnerable.
I don't know. I think I would have to disagree there and say that if this was about the image of Charlottesville,
the image of Charlottesville is not better off going toe-to-toe with a disgruntled PhD.
And you think it is better
former
off
police
just
chief
paying her off?
Dude, she is going to bring the smoke. You have a great judge of character and great instinct. Don't you think Brackney has smoke? You know she's got fire, right?
She thinks she's got something.
If you were a betting man, someone who has gone on record like this, like she has for this long, we're both in agreement she's not dumb, right? She's a freaking PhD. We know she's smart.
If I were a betting man, or it doesn't even matter if I was a betting man, you know what I would do? ASAP, I would get everybody in that suit in one room, and I would say, what do you want to tell me?
Oh.
Now is the chance to say it. Because somebody needs to know. Whoever, whether it's Snook or
Carrie Rock, fighting fire with fire or toe-to-toe just leaves scorched earth. Here's another saying, and then I'll get out of your way. I apologize for interrupting you. This is one of my favorite sayings out there. Are you ready for this? Let me see if I can find it. I have a notepad on my phone about cool sayings. When elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. When elephants fight, the grass is what suffers.
It's a great saying, but
Brackney and City Hall fighting in court is going to hurt Charlottesville. Brackney's reputation and image is already hurt. Charlottesville is trying to recover from a negative and hurt image called A12. The last thing Charlottesville needs is a lawsuit where a jurisdiction is going toe-to-toe with a black woman in court over wrongful termination.
Okay, then why not pay her the $3 million 180 days
Great
ago
question.
or whatever it was?
Great question.
Somebody was asleep at the wheel, or somebody thought that she was full of it. Now, there are basically two options. She either is full of it, or
I don't think she's full of it.
Or she's got all the dirt she says she has.
Carol
Either way,
Thorpe says to
somebody-
Janice Boyce Trevelyan, Carol Thorpe says, Janice, I doubt she is still getting paid because she was dismissed without cause per her employment agreement. The city manager had the right to terminate at any time without cause. But if there was some out-the-door salary allowance, I am unaware of it. That's Carol for Janice. Bill, you have any insight on the severance of Brackney? McKenzie, do you? Hey, thank you. Go ahead, Judah. I apologize for interrupting you.
I'm just saying the time to be appeasing was when she first asked for $3 million. Somebody at the top should have looked around and said, is this for real or is this a joke? And I would hope that the people around that person would give them an honest answer. And I feel like, I don't know, somebody was asleep at the wheel because that boat has clearly passed. We don't know.
Well, you know what? Maybe someone was asleep at the wheel. Because you know what's happened throughout this entire lawsuit? We haven't had a full-time city manager.
I know.
So maybe this lawsuit where she announced what, in November? In November, we were chasing Mark Woolley, the guy from Pennsylvania, the city manager who quit before he even took the job.
Okay, but
so maybe this fell between the cracks.
Somebody could have made a statement like, somebody could have made a statement replying to
Scott
her.
Aaronworth says you're 100% correct, that this lawsuit should have been settled before it ever got to this point. And he calls you J Dubs. Is 100% correct. J Dubs.
Yeah, I mean, all I'm saying is that it's tripled in price. Now is not the time to cave. The time to cave was back then. Now is the time to say, okay, why did we not cave 3 months ago?
Because
why did we not cave 3 months ago? You're saying nobody could make the decision?
You make a really good point. Your
Somebody
point
should
is
have
legit.
come forward and said something to acknowledge her claim at the very least, but we have not heard anything but crickets.
You make a good point. At this point, Charlottesville City Hall's got to say, she's not backing down. She's got something. Yes,
she thinks she has something. And
dude, she's got something.
Dude,
she's straight up alluding to having tapes.
I know.
Tapes. First off, who the hell has tapes of anything anymore? Is the tape you think she's recording to like someone was using the iPhone to record something? The record function on the iPhone? Do you think that's what she's alluding to?
Very possibly.
Because I don't think it's a cassette tape.
I mean, who knows? I mean, it could be cops talking on CB.
She has every media outlet tagged in her Twitter account, and she says, "Lordy, there are tapes."
Yeah.
That means she's got something.
I mean, she thinks she does.
We'll follow it. Slippery, slippery times, these slippery, slippery days, and slippery, slippery Charlottesville. Slippery times and slippery days and slippery Charlottesville.
Damn slippery slopes.
Slippery slopes all over. Slippery Charlottesville on a slippery Wednesday afternoon in slippery CVille. Those 10.2 square miles of slippery road and slippery politics. Kevin Higgins says this. He's the king of Greenwood. If the allegations are true, the city should pay her and hold themselves accountable. If the allegations are not true, the city should fight like hell and recover its reputation. There's no grass outside City Hall. Mayor Walker sent her plenty of audio and visual recordings. I think so too, Kevin Higgins. Brackney and Walker were tight.
Yeah.
They're homies. They're besties. They're buds. They're pals. They're chums. They're allies. All right, Harvey Mayorga from Guajiros, welcome to the program. Why don't we close with this? Aaronworth makes this comment. If she does not have the goods, George Mason may give her the axe for doing this.
Yeah.
All right, last topic I want to throw out there. In 50 minutes, there is a press conference, another press conference. Good Lord, today's the day of the press conferences. In 50 minutes, there's one featuring Jay Powell, Jerome Powell. And he's going to let everyone know what he's going to do to try to combat inflation. And the speculation or the crystal balls, the Monday morning quarterbacks, suggest this is going to be the largest rate hike in American history. 30-year interest rates are at 6.25%. They've gone up 3 points in 2022 alone. 3 points in 6 months. In the 2 o'clock hour, you're going to see a man in a suit tell the world that he's doing whatever the hell he can to keep a global economy from crashing. And at the 2 o'clock hour today, this man, this guy in a suit, who's doing whatever he can to keep the global economy from crashing, is going to try to persuade the world that he knows what he's doing. And we, the world, have to disregard the abundance of money this man in the suit put into the system. We, the world, have to disregard the fact that these measly rate hikes over the last 60, 90, 120 days have done jack diddly to keep inflation in check. And we, the world, have to give the benefit of the doubt yet again to the man in the suit and cross our fingers and say a prayer to the Lord that this man in the suit knows what he's doing. Gasoline's out of control, $5 plus on Pantops. Groceries are more expensive than ever. Try getting somebody to work for you. It ain't happening. You lock in you put an offer on a house, and you think you got a mortgage rate on a Monday morning of 5.75%, and by Tuesday afternoon it's over 6%. To say things are uncertain or unknown right now is an understatement. And a man in a suit in the 2 o'clock hour is the guy that we got to count on to make uncertain turn into certain. And I don't have any confidence he's going to get it right.
I don't think there's a whole lot he can do.
Now, there could have been something he could have done in the past. But I understand we're Monday morning quarterbacking here.
Yeah, I think he's had, not to give him a free pass, but I think he's had bad choices for years.
52% carry rock. Mortgage applications are already down. He puts in the comment section. Mortgage applications are down 52%. This time, right now, versus last year. We talk about, we'll close the program on this.
I mean, okay, well, first of all, let me just say that we talk about what things you choose to buy or not buy when things start getting like they are now. And let me tell you that whether or not I was going to buy a house would be the first the first thing to knock off my list if I was counting the bucks in my wallet.
But why? Your rent's, you're going to still have to pay a monthly payment. You might as well pay a monthly payment about something you own versus something you rent.
You know so much more than most people looking to buy a house.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying that most people are just looking at their bottom line right now. They're not listening to advice that says, look, you may be paying more for this house than you would have 3 months ago, but you're basically creating your own bank and paying yourself rent instead of somebody else.
People know that.
Not everybody, Jerry.
People know that.
Not everybody.
All right. It's not going to get more diverse or more affordable around here.
What does that have to do with anything?
These rates and this recession and this inflation and this uncertainty is making this community that we love whiter and wealthier.
It's doing that with a lot of communities.
And way more homogenous.
Yeah. I was just reading something about everybody's you can't go on Twitter or Instagram without seeing somebody posting about hey, I made so much money in the housing market by buying these properties and turning them to Airbnbs. It's happening all across the United States, and the people that live in those communities are getting pushed out, same as people here.
Heather Bangley, watching the program, Heather Bangley said, "I'm glad we purchased now." You're fortunate, Heather.
Mm-hmm.
Very fortunate. That's the show. These times, they are changing, and they are changing fast. They are changing fast. Judah Wickhauer is the director of the program, and for those that watch the show regularly, you guys have seen the evolution and the maturation of Judah Wickhauer on camera and in front of a microphone, and he's turned into quite a talented broadcaster, someone I'm proud to call a friend and a key contributor to the show, oftentimes playing the bear to my bull on the I Love CVille show.
It's like you guys said in the last show. It's not so much that it's not that I want to. It's just that I see the writing on the wall, and I
have no problem with you playing the bear. We'll get out of here on this note. Virginia Tech announced today that it will keep tuition flat for in-state undergraduates. So if you're an in-state student going to Virginia Tech this coming fall, your tuition will be the same rate as the previous fall. And Virginia Tech is doing this to help combat inflation. Out-of-state students will see a 3% uptick, Judah, in tuition at Virginia Tech this fall. And then the last item out of the notebook is one of positivity. Legos. Yes, Legos, the building blocks, the toy company.
I know Legos.
Would you call Legos toys?
I'd call them torture devices.
Torture devices.
Have you ever stepped on a Lego?
Oh yeah, they're painful when you see them. But are they toys?
Yeah, it's a toy.
A Lego is a toy?
Yeah, it's a building block toy.
Okay, so it's a toy.
As opposed to what?
I don't know. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah,
would you call a Rubik's Cube a toy?
Sure.
A Rubik's Cube is a toy?
Maybe puzzle, but I think puzzle falls in the realm of toys.
Is Legos, are they a puzzle?
No.
Legos are not a puzzle.
It's a building block.
Even though you're trying to build something.
Like Lincoln Logs it's building blocks.
All right, we'll call it a toy. Anyway, here's the news. Legos is building a $1 billion with a B, a $1 billion headquarters and plant in Chesterfield County. $1 billion. This 1.7 million square foot facility is expected to create over 1,760 jobs. Lego plans to break ground on the project this year, with production expected to begin in 2025. Legos is creating and building and investing $1 billion into a plant in Chesterfield County, Virginia, that's going to create 1,760 jobs. That right there is good news.
Yeah.
What's the most impressive Lego structure you have ever built? Dad and I built a pirate ship out of Legos.
Nice.
We were quite proud of the pirate ship Dad and I built. We were both in our tighty-whities, laying on our belly on the living room while watching television, maybe Friends, maybe a little Seinfeld, prime time on a Thursday evening, building a pirate ship out of Legos while I was a boy. Beautiful and wonderful memories.
Was being in your tighty-whities entirely relevant to
I
that
had to add some
story?
pomp and circumstance and a little colorful language to help set the stage. A little tighty-whities. Yes, they were BVDs. My dad may have had some Fruit of the Looms. We're on our bellies building a pirate ship. Walk the plank, Judah. Walk the plank. Ho, ho, ho.
But first take off your pants.
I like to be comfortable.
Who doesn't? Especially when you're walking the plank.
Still to this day, that's how I like to hang out in my house. Although they're boxers, not tighty-whities.
Good to know, I guess.
Did you contribute what the most impressive Lego structure you've ever built was?
No, because I can't remember. I don't think I've ever actively built anything.
This is a succinct answer that is needed of a few words. Somehow you've turned this into a long-winded answer.
Me long-winded? You're the one that took off in the direction of
You're a bit long-winded.
BVDs. I said no. I don't think there's anything that I've ever...
You've never built a Lego structure?
Like I said, I can't remember ever like trying to put together, a particular Lego. I've like fiddled with Legos probably 40 plus years ago.
You've never? Okay, all right. You know what? I was going to do for employee bonus at Christmas. I was just going to go the traditional cash bonus that you get each year. Instead
I'm getting Legos.
Instead, I'm going to get you a 1,000-piece Lego set. For the Christmas bonus. I genuinely think you would enjoy that potentially more than the bonus. Because you're very much a problem solver.
But aren't Lego boxes like all... Now, isn't it all like you buy something that actually creates... It's like a model kit. Like you don't get an airplane model kit and create a classic car.
Yeah. No. There's two options. You can buy a Lego kit where it's something you create. Yes, you're correct. You can also buy a Lego kit to build
blocks.
Whatever the hell you want. Yeah. You're not forced to build what's on the box of the Legos.
I know that, but they give you shapes and pieces that work to
build what's on the box. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
But you can build something off the box.
It.
I mean, we learned yesterday that you started your collegiate career at Southern California and Los Angeles at USC as a computer science and computer engineering major. Someone with your kind of foundation and educational background is going to take the pirate ship and essentially turn it into like a freaking flying submarine or something. You're that talented and creative, the computer engineer and computer science major.
Maybe.
You'll turn like the pirate ship, and then you'll recreate like a Pamela Anderson out of Legos.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that rude.
Pam Anderson? Of our childhood and growing up, is there more of an iconic beauty?
I'm a bit older than you, and I've never
Carmen Electra? Jenny McCarthy?
I mean, are you just gonna like name off everyone with like balloons?
Okay, then who is it for
balloons
you? Who is it for you? Are you going to say Lisa Bonet in a different world?
Lisa Bonet?
Okay, then who is it for you? Can you just succinctly tell me the answer?
I would say, I don't know, Mia Sara.
Who?
You don't know Mia Sara?
Who?
She was
Who?
She was Sloane in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, she's nice.
Come on.
Very pretty. She's great.
Or what about Phoebe Cates?
Who? Who?
Okay.
We're out of here. Judah Wickower, Jerry Miller, I Love CVille Show. Back tomorrow at 12:30, baby. Legos, pirate ships into Pamela Anderson. That's the memory I want you to take from this show. Judah, good job today. So long, everybody. Take care.